Y'all, today we have a special guest. Of course, we got Steve Kerr, not the Golden State Warriors coach, but
what's going on?
And we got Chris Franklin from NJ.com back where I grew up, out in the Philadelphia area. Chris, tell the people about yourself and NJ.com and all that.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Chris Franklin. I cover Eagles beat reporter and also cover Sixers. What we do is we cover anything and everything Eagles, give some analysis, give any breaking news when it comes to rosters or anything like that. And overall, man, it's just been it's been real fun, like covering this team so far. It's been interesting, some interesting decisions and everything, and it's been pretty good.
Cool. So let's get right into it. The Eagles basically traded the 6th-round pick for Gardner Minshew, and then basically got the 6th-round pick back for Matt Pryor. What are your thoughts on Garner and all that?
I thought it wasn't a bad pickup considering what they had to give up. I mean, this team, Howie Roseman loves to say that they're a quarterback factory, and it looks like they really want to keep that moniker going. Minshew, I think, fits what this team is looking to do. A lot of the stuff he does very well when it comes to short and intermediate route throwing, and he's proven that. And another good thing that I see, basically looking at his tape and looking at his stats, is as you see, he does very well off the play action pass. And when you look at what the Eagles are potentially looking to accomplish this year on offense, they're looking to feature the running backs a lot and run the ball a lot more, I think we've seen in the past. So to have a backup quarterback, even if he's going to be the 3rd string, having a guy that's used to that and is able to succeed in that offense, keep going, I think that'll benefit the Eagles in the long run. And they have him for control for 2 years. So Joe Flacco's the backup for at least 1 year. He's under contract for a year. He just moves right up to the number 2 beginning in 2022.
What are what as a non-Eagles fan, Steve? What did you think when you saw it?
I mean, I like Jalen Hurts. I don't know. I don't know what their thought process is. Getting someone. I mean, Gardner Minshew can play. You know, he can start in the NFL. I don't know if he's one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the league, but he's definitely a viable option. I just don't know what their thought process is in terms of how confident they are in Jalen. And this signing to me just shows me, I don't know how confident they are in him currently. Like, this could be, if he comes out in the first 4 games, first month of the season, and isn't producing, they have some guys they can throw out there and just have Jalen, still learning,
Yeah, and when it comes to, I think there's more with the Deshaun Watson stuff when it came to the questions about if he's the guy. And to hear that these rumors still continue to swirl around saying, hey, the Eagles are interested and that Watson just doesn't want to waive his no trade clause, I think that was very telling. They're still trying to acquire him. I know Watson is a top 5 guy when he's on, but he's got too many issues around that. But yeah, I think now seeing that, I think they're going to give him at least 1 year. And it's basically, hey, you know what? You have a year to prove this. We're going to give you these weapons around, and if he sticks around, I think even if the offense winds up being in the top 15, it looks like they're improving each week. I can see him coming back for another year, and they're using the 2, potentially 3 first-round picks to build around him and make that offense better.
You mentioned throw the house at Deshaun Watson. That's even if he has to sit out a year, I'd still throw the house at that guy because you got 10 years. Woo.
It depends on what happens. If it winds up being, say, hey, you know what, it's something where he was being extorted and this is all made up, then yeah, but by then he's probably gonna be somewhere else. But if it comes out with all these allegations, I just don't know how you can sell that to the fan base. And it's gonna be, ooh, that's a tough sell. So like, hey guys, be excited for this. And oh yeah, by the way, we have a guy who's possibly indicted.
And that's my point. Is like, it might not just be a year. This might be like when Vic was getting put to go, to sent to jail. There was some time between when he got sent to jail and then when the Eagles took some time to get Vic, and they went out on a limb for, obviously I take, animal welfare seriously, but it's different when it's human beings and all of the different dynamics at play there.
And the amount of women too, over 20 women that are coming with these allegations. And I think that holds a lot of weight. I think at least when it came to Vic, they came back. It depends on the coach too. Andy Reid believed in second chances and giving this, and he took that case up to Jeffrey Lurie, and Jeffrey Lurie proved that. Well, Andy Reid's not here now. We don't know that about Nick Sirianni just yet. Looks like
he was proven. This is a 4-time NFC Championship appearance coach when he did this.
Yeah.
So a Super Bowl appearance, division championships, numerous division championships. Nick Sirianni does not have that stature to try that. Right.
Hey guys, I just got the job. Hey, can we bring in Deshaun Watson? Wait, what?
That's heavy.
It'd be a tough sell.
It is. It is. And we don't know that Jalen isn't a Jalen. I think Jalen's peak is, same as around what Dak can do. That's his peak. Like, you'd be a 12 to 16 quarterback, something like that.
Yeah.
10 to 16, maybe.
I think if he peaks, I think he's going to surprise. I think a little bit. I don't think he's going to be like, I've seen these rankings come out where he's like 31 to 32. And I mean, the original one where it didn't have him as a top 40, I think he's going to surprise some people I'll say it this way. I don't think he's going to be one of those guys who throws 70, 75% completion rates. Yeah. I think he's going to use his legs a lot. Yeah. I think he'll finish somewhere in a range of like low 60s, maybe to 65. And he'll use his legs to set up a lot of other things. If they can get, I know they haven't had like a 4,000, 5,000 yard passer, but if they can get a combination of like 4,000 to 4,500 all-purpose yards from him, I think that's a win for this offense.
Oh yeah, easy. I mean, I see at least 500 yards on the ground from him.
Yeah,
easy.
Yeah,
bootlegs, play actions. I mean, those games where he was on last year, I mean, he kind of came out of the gates hot. So if you kind of tone that down, that's kind of what you're getting from Jalen Hurts. And plus, you got a Devontae Smith. You have a legit weapon now, as opposed to some guys from practice squad last year. He's got some guys to work with.
You don't get hurt for completion percentage in fantasy. He's a big time fantasy.
Yep.
Yeah, but I like it. I like real life. I watch all the games. So.
Oh no, I'm just saying, like, the 52%. That's going to come up. He's going to be throwing to the backs and tight ends more this year, so that'll be better. So speaking of one of those backs and tight ends, Zach Ertz, it seems like he will be here. Another guy who will be here through the end of the season.
Yeah, what he did, he was able to. We talked to him today, and we were shocked because we weren't expecting him to come talk to him at all. And I mean, if you look back to January, where we saw that he was very emotional and like he was saying his goodbye to us and to the Philadelphia, and now you look today, he's like he said the apologies were made and he's gotten the rights. He said he had his best training camp that he's ever had. And you see this, he seems like he's a different guy. He seems like he's ready to look forward to. He even said he was looking forward to retire as an Eagle. So it looks like he's buying in. You'll have this. And the dynamic now, he said beforehand, he used to worry about him going versus back in the day against Brett Selleck when he was here. Now he felt like he was going against Dallas Goedert. Now he's actually saying, hey, you know what? He's just worried about himself. He's focused. I mean, looking at the way he's already built that chemistry right now with Jalen Hurts, it looks like it's doing all right. Basically, you see after practice, the two of them you see them always working on routes and they're always talking, and Goddard joins in as well too, but they're building that chemistry as well. So I don't think he's going to see I don't think we'll see Zach Ertz, the Pro Bowl guy we saw like 3 years ago, but I think you'll see a guy who's still productive and can help out. And I mean, having him work the middle and Goddard work the middle when you have Smith, when you have Ray on the outside over speed, I think they can do some damage inside there.
Steve, what you think?
He got the blonde hair this summer, man.
He said,
I like it. New. Something about it is spicy.
When we first got there, and it was the first training camp practice, and we're like, everybody's looking around like I was Ertz and everything else, and we're like, who's that blonde guy? Like, what's going on there? Oh, that's Zach. What's going on? And I saw one thing they had out there saying like he wanted to try something new, and it was around like, hey, he's enjoying it. I mean, more power to him. It's just one of those things like it caught you off guard. Like, the only thing I think will be different is I think will really shock anybody is if Jason Kelce ever shaved his beard off. It was like on that level, like, whoa, what's going on here?
Hey man, whatever gets him going,
Yeah,
he was a beast a couple years ago.
Yeah, he's good, and it's also all about the formation, how they use them, how they scheme them up too. So I think it depends on how they depend on using them, and the fact that you have those. Sorry, repeating this, but the fact you have those guys with speed that can go push those safeties back a little bit. You want to have Goddard and Ertz matched up against a linebacker in the middle of the field. it sets up some stuff. It's crazy.
That says a lot of 12 personnel, though. So, so we're going to have to run the ball successfully this year, and Sirianni's going to need to be committed to it if you're going to go 12 personnel.
Yeah, and I think they are. I mean, I think even though the roster doesn't show it right now with the 3 running backs, but they've run the ball a lot, and there's also other ways you can use the 12 personnel. Like, I mean, you can still run like a 4 wide receiver look and have them on the outside, and then utilize the screen, and get the ball just out there. Because to me, I look at the screen as an extension of the outside running game. I mean, instead of just handing the ball off, just get it out there quickly, and the next thing you know, you got your guys blockers out there. So I think you'll see a lot of that type stuff. That where say, I know early on I wasn't a fan of why is it 3rd and 2? Why are you throwing the ball? But you see a lot of that stuff in there now being mixed in, and you can see it like, hey, why do you got 4 wide? Oh wait, no, you see Goddard and Ertz out there, so you see stuff like that. It's mixing in a little different looks as well too, and to utilize and have success with it.
Yeah. Quick little safety valves for our Hurts.
Yeah, all the back, and you see the quarterbacks always running like during practice. They all do this drill where you see get the ball, and all of a sudden they're throwing off the back foot, throwing real quick, and they're getting used to that stuff. So little things like that it is building up towards it.
Flacco looked so mobile in that last game. It was weird.
It caught people off guard. Like, it's one of the things where it was showing it a little bit. Like I wouldn't throw him out there on a zone read, seeing him expected running around the outside edge. It's good, but it's enough that you like, hey, you know what? I guess you got to respect it if he's out there. I mean, I didn't see that coming. He's a little bit more mold than I thought he was, and I like the way what he adds in the respect of that leadership guy in the locker room.
Yep.
He does a lot. You got 2 very young quarterbacks now. You have the guy you can go to. Hey, Joe, you've seen stuff. You've seen probably every coverage that's out there. Right. How do you attack this way? So I think his role in that way helps. But having him run a speed option, that would be an adventure in itself, seeing that happen.
Yeah, we would see Mr. Minshew pretty quickly.
Oh gosh,
that's not going to happen for long.
Oh gosh, no, please don't.
maybe in like a weird kind of Philly kind of situation where somebody would just completely not expect it.
You know, if Doug was here, I could see them there. There was Princeton used to run this play where you used to have 3 quarterbacks on the field at the same time. They run like all the option. They had 3. I think it was back in 2012, 2013. They had 3. If Doug was here, I could see them doing something just like, hey, you know, I mean, they had the 2 on the same time. One of the things they had Wentz and yeah, stuff like that. If Doug was here, I could see him like going, hey, you know what? Let's study this place here works. But Gardner Minshew is mobile enough. He's not like Hurts where he gets around the edge. Like, okay, cool, he can pick up the yards. But to have the 3 of them do that now, that's playing with fire.
Joe needs to sit back, take a 3-step drop, and just hit somebody.
Yeah, and that's why I like what Flacco in this offense looks like the old school West Coast offense they used to run back with Young and everything else. It's like 3-step drop, go to running back, 3-step drop, hit the slant. That's what he excels at in this thing, and it's not that it gets.
He would race you to death in Baltimore.
Yep.
Oh my goodness! That little circle wheel.
They had a few dudes, bunch of possession receivers. You know.
Yep. It looks like that. It almost became like a game where I'm like thinking like, okay, I'm going to guess right here. Is he going to throw it to Kenny Gainwell? Or is he going to throw it to Jamon Osby, who's working with the second team? Like, is he going to throw in the middle or go that? Start out with throwing to Gainwell. Start out throwing to Jordan Howard and everybody else, and then in the middle, there's the wide receiver there. It became that, but he's so good at it. It just keeps drives alive. It's like if it's take 5-6 yards of play, it goes.
That's good. That's a good average.
So before we move on to other NFL stuff, because most of the time we don't talk all Eagles, so it's awesome to have you here. Quick lightning round on Eagles stuff. Okay. All right. More catches this season. At the end of the year, who will have more catches, Miles Sanders or Kenny Gainwell?
Ooh, I'll say Gainwell only because I think he'll be a little bit more short-handed. Not a lot, but a little bit more short-handed.
More sacks, Derek Barnett or Josh Sweat?
I knew that when you said the first one. Ooh. I'll go Josh Sweat. I mean, he's looked good. He's got the good get off the ball. I'll go Josh Sweat on that.
Me too. More TDs, Goddard or Ertz?
Ooh. I'll go Ertz. I'll go Ertz by 1.
Yeah.
Hurts by 1. It'll be like 4-3 or like 6-5, something like that. Hurts by 1.
All right, Steve. We go. So Goddard or Ertz?
I mean, I'm going Goddard. I think Goddard's the man. As long as he doesn't get hurt like midway through the season, like, I think Goddard's going to end up with like 8 touchdowns. Zach will probably end up, taking some middle of the field targets away, but
I can see that happening. I truly see that happening.
Yeah.
All right, Barnett or Sweat? More sacks.
Oh, Barnett.
Barnett. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sanders or Gamwell?
I haven't really been following. I know Miles struggles in the passing game, so I'm going back the other dude.
Yeah. But you got to watch Josh Sweat. He looks like a monster out there. Tell the people about Josh Sweat. Give him the early scoop.
What he's done right now is the thing especially with a defensive lineman, you want to see somebody get inside the pads of the offensive lineman to drive on. There's been a couple of times, and this is not to pile on Andre Dillard, but there's a couple of times where he got inside on Andre Dillard, pushed up, got inside, and put it like he was putting him on skates. He's quick off the ball. He's developed, like most defensive ends, you see, okay, they have one move, or they see they have 2 moves ready to go. He's developed multiple moves. I think over the line, I think Tracy Rocker's done a good job with that. That it was just like now he looks comfortable in there. He's learned, he's got experience there now. He's seen some of these defensive ends over and over again now. He's studying that. He can lead. I think he can lead the team in sacks this year. He's that good.
I think he will.
Yeah.
I think he will.
I'm
calling it for first. Okay, so Cam Newton been released. Steve? Let's let Steve go first on this. He's not been a big Cam. You tell the people how you feel about Cam.
I think Cam's all right. I just have never been on the side of the conversation where I thought Cam Newton was the MVP quarterback, the superstar quarterback. I was shocked when I saw the notification come through. I didn't think Mac Jones was going to be the starter right from day one. But I guess, from things that you hear, people that are surrounding the team have been talking about in terms of how well he's been performing basically since day one. Like, they've been throwing the book at him. And apparently he's been, successful. Like, apparently he hasn't been messing up, having a mistake, and then repeating that same mistake, which is, Bill Belichick's, number one thing. Like, he doesn't like guys that repeat mistakes over and over again. And obviously you got a rookie versus a guy who's, I don't know how old Cam is, 32, 33 or something like that.
I think 32 is the number.
32,
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you can throw somebody, a young guy in the fold with a defense that's basically returning everybody who took last year off. Because of COVID, it was like 6, 7, 8 guys that sat out. So they're all coming back. They signed a bunch of dudes in free agency to help out. So he's basically got a ready team already built around him. He just does, eliminate turnovers, and he'll be all right. So, I mean, it's a tough situation for Cam, but man, I didn't think it would be this quick.
To be cut, I didn't think it would be this quick at this point. It kind of does him a disservice because he could have. I could see him starting in New Orleans, like if he had been cut early enough.
I see the thing with Cam. I think it was 2 things that were working against him. Mac Jones, obviously, he drafted first round, and the biggest push of how teams want to see these first round picks immediately get into there and actually see what they got. That worked against him. 2, I think it was the big elephant in the room that teams can't outwardly say it, except for if you're Urban Meyer, who now gets yourself in trouble, is with the vaccine. I think when you see the rates that the Patriots had, and Cam can say no, and then you see what's going on with some of these guys have to stay away from the facility if they're in close contact, and that started to add on. It's a risk now that you have them there. Sorry, there's something. There's a sound going on. It sounds like something's like a train's going on right now.
Ooh. The tornadoes, storm
sorry,
is right over Mulga Hill. Right.
Sorry, you know what, guys? Can I come back on? There's a tornado system right over us right now.
All right. So, other than Cam, were there any other cuts that shocked you? Even if they're on the Eagles, they're kind of lesser known guys. Because I have one. Yeah.
Well, the Travis Fulgham. Well, there's 2. Travis Fulgham and John Hightower. Those were the two I thought that for the Eagles, they were like, all right, that was crazy. I know for that one, the Cam one for me was just the penultimate one. I think that was the other ones. But I look at Fulgham and I saw a guy who led the team in receiving yards last year, who showed ability to make some catches in tough situations. But the problem was, in early camp, he was very inconsistent. He dropped some catchable balls, and then you saw him line up. It looked like he lined up in the wrong position a couple of times, and his coaching staff is really big on detail. And when he did that, John Hightower, same thing. Like he had a little issues sometimes, and then also he seemed like only run the one not they call it the 9 route, the go routes. And when it came to the other routes, was like, yeah. So
body language was the body language for me that threw me off.
Yeah, he looked like he one of those things like where he internalized a lot of things. Where if it goes wrong, he just stays in his head. It just seems like that way, or he belabors it, or it's just like really just like okay, he looks like he's like nonchalant at times. And when you do stuff like that, that hurts. And I really believe there was 2 plays I think that really hurt him not able to be in his team. The first one was J.J. Arcega-Whiteside not only caught that touchdown pass, but the immediate play right after that, he made a tackle on special teams. Yes. And I was like, that hurt. And then when Fulgham got toward the goal line, he fumbled the ball into the end zone. It was a touchback, gave it to the Jets. Put those things together, yeah, it did that. Did him in. In my opinion, I think that did him in.
I mean, if it was really about talent, he would have made the team, and Andre Dillard wouldn't. But
when you look at he really did himself in, and who would have thought J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's fighting to be the fifth wide receiver on his team? Your second round pick is 2019, the 2019 second round pick, and now you're fighting to say, hey, you know what? I made the roster because I'm a really good special teams player. You might as well keep Matt Collins at that point if you're going to use a guy like that. At that point, it's rough to see, but hopefully he turns things around, man. It's craziness.
I'm more down on Andre Dillard than I am on JJ, even though JJ is JJ.
Yeah, Dillard. For me, the one thing I always thought he lacked, he's got the physical skills. He's got the great footwork to be a tackle. That's never a question. To me, I look at a left tackle as if he's protecting the quarterback and I want to make sure it doesn't touch him, I want to see somebody with a nasty streak that looks like, hey, if I'm going to get beat, I'm going to come back the next play and I'm going to push you back and say, no, you're not going to get by me anymore. And with Mailata, you see that. You see, like, right, rugby player, you see that come back like, oh, you beat me beforehand. I'm going to come back and I'm going to push you down and try to pancake you. With Dillard, it's just like he's just like, I got beat on the play. I'll get him next one, or he like Fulgham starts getting his head more. And I'm hoping that like, and I'll say this too, that maybe there's hope for Dillard because this point last year, I thought Mailata was going to get cut because he was getting beat off the ball. Joe Oosman was beating Mailata consistently off the ball at times during training camp last year. And fast forward to now, you got Mailata's looking well to play B. You're starting left tackle. Maybe the same thing could help come with Dillard. Maybe him staying off a little bit that helps him out. But who knows?
There's a shortage of linemen in the league. That's what I was going to say. Steve, you were going to say something.
No, I'm just saying once your mental capacity gets in the way of everything, it's tough to combat that. Yeah. You can have all the physical talent in the world, but once your head gets in the way, that's just tough to get over.
Yeah, it's there's so many guys you see that you wonder, like you see the draft tape and you're looking like, hey, you know what, this guy could make it, and then it could be head, it could be heart, it could be just understanding the offense, it could be something like that. It's just that one thing that holds them back. And if you look at what they gave up, I believe it was a 4th or 5th round pick to move up to get them. So you use that asset to and swap picks for the first round, and now you have a guy just sitting on your bench. And now, if you trade him, you may get like a third. Most if you really hold somebody hostage, you may get a third, probably like a 4th or lower. It's disappointing. I think the Eagles will probably say, hey, it's disappointing. Like, but they'll look at it as, hey, you know what, they got great depth at left tackle, and to me, I thought Brett Toth played on the same level of all people. Yes. Brett Toth played on the same level as Dillard,
and I don't think Toth is very good.
Yeah, I'll say that he's improved. He's gotten to the point now. He's not only playing tackle; he's playing guard. So I I wouldn't say, hey, you know what, Brett Toth, I'm making him my cornerstone for the next 10 years to be my left tackle. I'm not saying, I wouldn't say that. And I hope anybody's like, oh, well, this guy covers the team. He says Brett Toth. Nah. But I wouldn't mind having him being the guy say, hey, you know what, I need a game or two out of you, hold the fort until Mailata comes back.
Like Seumalo?
I would see if Jason Seumalo was good, I wouldn't put him out as tackle. I put him. They got an interesting choice coming up because whenever Kelsey retires, do you put Dickerson at center, which the Eagles are using, focus him primarily at center, or do you use a guy Seumalo who used to be a center who could move inside, and then put Dickerson out at the left guard spot? I mean, there's so many choices they could do there. I mean, for all accounts, Dickerson does pick up. Is a smart guy who can pick up the defensive line shifts and make the protection changes. Seumalo could do the same thing with all that experience too. So that might be in 2022, 2023. That might be worth watching. But they got some. They're deep and they're young at that position. I mean, heck, Coyote Osika. Who would have thought? Yeah, all names like that. Like, who the heck is this guy? But he played well. They're really deep along the offensive line.
Steve, take it away.
I mean, so I checked out your Twitter before we came on here, and I saw that you cover the Sixers as well, man. And I've had a big, I don't want to say an idea, but I've been a big stickler on the whole Embiid and Simmons, duo. I don't know, probably since they've been together. Not since they've been together, but since they've been about 4 years now. That they can't coexist and be an elite team in terms of winning a championship together. Like I've been on that horse for
at least 3 years.
A long time. I've been talking about this forever, and so it's finally come to where we are today. And apparently, I guess it was early this morning or late last night. Ben Simmons finally said, hey, I want out. Like I'm not reporting to camp. I don't want to deal with this anymore. And like he cut off all communication, I guess a week ago or something like that. But I just want to see what your thoughts are about the whole situation.
It's unfortunate, and to the point where I think the Sixers really did on their end of trying to make Ben comfortable as he can and do his thing, stuck by him. That could have been different behind closed doors from what I've heard. The Sixers really did try to do everything they could to help him out. Now the whole thing's about Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons not getting along. I don't put stock in that at all. And that was even before Joel Embiid came out and said it, because you had to go back all the way to high school. These guys knew each other already back in high school because they were practicing against each other when they were down in Florida, Montverde Academy. And even then, like a lot of times, I mean, there's people that you go to work with, and I go with Mike, like we're cool. We hang out. Like when we get there, we could hang out, stuff like that. And there's other people like, you know what, we're cool, but you don't hang out with.
You don't have to love everybody you work with.
Right.
You have to respect them.
That's why it's work.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as each person is doing their work, going to work every day, say, hey, you know what, you do your thing, and that it works out. So they don't have to be buddy. And I don't think that, and for everything I've heard, I don't think there's a rift between them at all. I generally believe that. And I still think, and now it's funny just thinking back now, I got a chance to ask Ben Simmons, like after that Game 7 loss, do you feel that, did you hear that? What do you think about the fans saying you were traded? Do you want to be and still be in Philadelphia? He was like, yeah. That was immediately after Game 7. I don't know I don't know if he's listening to the advice he's gotten and he's realized, or he sees what everybody's saying now, like we're going to boo him when he comes back and anything. He's like, no, I don't think it's a thing, but I just got that gut feeling. And this is no basis on it. This is just me speculating. I have no basis on this. I have a feeling we'll see when the regular season begins. I think you'll see him back there. It'll just be one of those things where we may not talk to him, because I mean, look at Harden. Harden was trying to get his way off there. He still wound. It took half the season before he actually trade deadlines before he got left. So, and Ben likes money, so you don't want to give up that money.
See, like I was always a believer that they're just the way they play, their styles of play is just so hard to coexist together. Like, and the fact that Joel is a 7-footer with lower limb injuries, he's not going to last very long. So I was always under the belief that if you were ever going to get rid of somebody, even though Joel, I believe, is the more talented player, his longevity is a lot shorter. So you can probably get whatever you can get for Joel, keep Ben and build around him, and you can probably get another superstar. And he's an up-tempo guy who fits the way the NBA is going nowadays. Anyways, he's one of the best 4 or 5 defensive players in the league as it is. You know,
if you get that, you could get McCollum and Lillard probably for Embiid.
I just think when you have, I think Embiid, when you have a guy that commands down a low post and collapses everybody against you, I think you see it would all be different if Simmons decided to take a shot once in a while from the top of the key or from the 3-point range, because then comes that floor. You have that floor spacing, and then everything flows a lot better.
But now he even needs to be able to take. See, like that's the problem with him and Joel playing together. Like they both are so good. Like they both can play in the post. That's the problem. Like that's why they can't coexist and get past that second round. Like Ben Simmons doesn't need to be able to shoot the ball. I don't think. I think it's a waste of time. You need to be able to shoot free throws, but be able to shoot a 15-footer and further out, I think is just a waste of his game. He just needs to get his mental right to be able to go ahead and shoot some floaters, go ahead and finish at the basket strong, because you're going to get fouled and people are going to put you at the free throw line, and just be able to make free throws at least like a 65% clip, you know?
Yeah. I wouldn't even say that. I would say even if he's the threat, like if they are, if he just takes it, he doesn't have to make it. Just the fact that, hey, or if he makes a couple, yes, but just to attempt the shot, so they go, oh wow, you know what? Maybe he starts to do it. If he makes a couple early, if he made like 3 of 10 from like the top of the key to even attempt a 3-point range, and he cannot shoot for the rest of the time, everybody's going to settle back like, well, you know what? They won't settle back like, well, you know what? He may actually attempt this. Let me go out to get it, and that just frees up more.
That's cool. Yeah.
Too. Like he doesn't. He can do that for like the first 10 games, and after that, like, I'm not sure. I'm going back to a regular Ben Simmons.
He's so good. Like, and just him and Joel are both just dominant low post guys. It's the tough like duo, you know. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a big case of what if. I mean, now you look back with everything going on, how big was that looking at the quadruple doink now when it came to Kawhi Leonard hitting against the Toronto? Ooh. Now you look back like that looks like their best shot. I mean, I know they had the path going to this year, which I think that's number 2, but just I think the winner of that game was going to go win the world championship, I think, no matter what.
That year, right?
So now it looks like you had your shot.
Yeah,
you blew
it. They're good, man. They have pieces, and especially in the East. I think the East is everybody talks about the Nets. I mean, the Nets. You got KD, you got James Harden, Kyrie. Like, you know, we'll see if they can actually stay healthy and guard folks. Like, it's still up for grabs. I feel like. So
I think they're top 3 team again. It's going to be. I think for the next couple of years, you'll see it'll always be the Nets, the Bucks, and the Sixers. They're always those 3 teams, I think.
Yep.
So if maybe they get lucky, it's almost like the early '80s where you used to have the Sixers, the Lakers, and the Celtics.
Yeah,
I think we're back there again. At least when it comes to the East, I'm not saying overall like they'll take it, but I think they're back in that aspect.
Right. Yeah.
It was like the old '80s where you had in the East you had the Celtics, you had the Sixers, and you had the Pistons.
Yep, exactly. You roll those guys. It used to be must see. It almost became a round robin. You can say, okay, well, at least this year, okay, they're not going to play the Pacers, and you'll see that. Okay, see other teams. You had to see those 3 and see how it shook out, because you know it's going to come down to seeding when it came to head-to-head down the line, because these are be the top 3 teams when it came to that. I think you'll see a lot that again this year. I think the Sixers are going to be more of a 3 seed than a 2 seed this year. Maybe I think they could possibly get to 2, because Milwaukee will have played a little bit longer because they made their run and won championships, so there'll be a little wind, I think, with a quick turnaround. But I think you'll see. I just think in my heart of hearts the Nets are going to win the conference this year coming up, and then it gets really dicey with some of the way the contracts are going and who's going where and stuff like that. So their window, I think, is the next 2 years, and they got to win it with it after that.
You think Simmons starts the season and finishes the season? I thought you were just saying earlier you think he starts and goes like Harden. You're saying he stays through. He plays the season.
And it's not going to be, I guess he's not going to be happy, because I think it's going to be one of those things where Morey's going to once again want to get 4 first-round picks or a superstar. I think the best scenario for the Sixers would be Ben starts the season. It's near the trade deadline. Ben's still playing Ben-type basketball. Portland's out of it. Or, well, actually, no. Portland is Yeah, Portland's out of it. They're trying to dump him. Dame starts saying, "Hey, you know what? I want to get out." They make the swap. That's the best. To me, that's the best case scenario for the Sixers.
That's
You
when
probably have to give up Maxey, but like that whole thing with the Rich Paul and Maxey, that's something to watch too. Because if it's true that he did tell the community events to not prepare for Maxey to come there and cancel them all, that's something really major to watch.
Look.
He wants to get him out. It looks like so. If he whatever did in there, and it's looking like more. I think it was Jason Dumas out west in the Bay Area said that he made whatever deal involves Simmons. You're going to probably have to package Maxey because of share the same agent. Yeah, and now you really lost a bright promising star, and you lost your all-star.
Yeah,
better get something good back.
You got to get an all-star at least.
At least, yeah, and not a Kevin Love. Not he sold him. Oh, we got a 6. No, he's not. You need a bona fide, promising top 15 guy at least.
Right. Yeah.
Damian Lillard. About Morey. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm saying like Damian Lillard's cool. Like if you get Lillard, like you can live with that easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Morey is committed to competing though. I think I appreciate that as a Philly fan. I think the city is going to appreciate that. Hinkie would have probably moved on at this
The process would have taken 2 more years longer. It's like, I think we can get a couple more first-round picks.
Right. We can. We get like 8 of them. Not 8, but
Well, and getting off a little tangent, the one thing I want to see is if the league does the same thing with the Oklahoma City Thunder. To me, they've become the money launderers of the NBA.
Yes.
It's like, you just we'll bring in your I don't want to say dirty players, but bring in your players. We'll clean them out, ship them somewhere else. Just give us a traffic exchange. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I wonder
a conveyor belt out of town.
Yep.
No matter where.
When they said that, I forget what player they traded for it. I forget who they said, but they said like they were willing to help him get to where he wanted to go. I'm sitting there like,
Kemba. Didn't they get Kemba? He went to New York.
That's what it was. Yeah, like we're willing to help him go to where he wants to go. Wait. Are you a travel agency? Right. B, this sounds like money laundering, but in a draft pick type of sense. What? How's that being competitive? Like, no.
Sam Presti's a smart dude, though.
Yeah. School Hinkie Morey. They learned. Oh goodness! As long as they don't get the frozen ping pong balls, are good.
So on a non-Eagles but NFL thing, how are you feeling about the Cowboys? Have you watched Hard Knocks? What are y'all thoughts on Hard Knocks?
I've watched the first 2 episodes. I would say I love what NFL films does with that series. It's always interesting. You see the backstories and everything else. I love. I know everybody talks about Eli Manning face. I love Mike McCarthy face because whenever you see him up, like when you hear him get the updates about Dak, you just see him look around. I like that aspect. I mean, the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys, much to the granted, a lot of Eagles fans would like to hear. I think they're going to win the division this year. I just think
that's what I said.
It's going to be one of those things where it's not. It might be another ugly year in the division. I'm starting to see that. I mean, you finish. I know preseason doesn't carry that much weight, but when you finish 1-11-1, you think they have a better showing the whole NFC East. But I think the Cowboys are the best of the bunch. I think their defense is going to be better, and that's all they needed last year. They just needed defense to be average. I thought they would have won the division. So I think given that even if Dak's not 100%, if you still have CeeDee Lamb, I think he's going to be really good in the slot. You got Gallup and you have Cooper, and they just need Zeke to be okay and stop fumbling the ball. I think they'll be okay that way. But watching it, Micah Parsons is an interesting character to watch. It's interesting. I think I like the possibilities that he can bring to the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not losing any. I think if I'm in the Eagles, I'm not losing any sleep because of stuff that one too. But Smith can be all right. I want to see him do it consistently and stay healthy. At the same time, I want to see the whole package. See, do it for continually do it for at least a couple seasons. I still have my questions about him, but I really think Micah Parsons could be. I'll preface saying he's not LT, but they can use him in an LT type way.
He's good.
He's good. I think he'll be all right. And you got a defensive coordinator that Quinn knows how to use guys. So put guys in the right position. So
Yeah,
right.
I think it's going to be. If you told me, I think the Giants are the last place team in this division. I think it's a 3-dog race. I think the Giants won't be so far back, but they're going to be clearly the worst. I think it's a 3-dog race for the Cowboys, the football team, and the Eagles. I wouldn't be shocked if any of them won it, really, because it's really going to be a 9-8, 10-7 wins it year.
Yeah. And the main thing the only reason why I'm not picking, and I know stats been thrown out over and over again, but since the early 2000s, there hasn't been a repeat winner of the NFC East. Yeah. So that's the reason I'm like, all right, cool. That probably takes him out. And also, I'm not completely sold on Fitzpatrick because he's up and down. Depends on what Patrick you get. What you got this week? Okay.
It was tough, too. Ooh.
Yeah. And when he plays the Eagles, he's going to throw for like 400 yards because he just seems to do that every time. I don't know what it is about the Eagles, but he just plays well against them. But I think when you look at the Giants are either going to be extremely good or the players are going to revolt against Joe Judge just by giving – I get he's being passionate and he wants to bring discipline. But after the fight, you have your guy – after an internal team brawl, you have your players running sprints back and forth like it's JV and they're either going to be really good and Daniel Jones is going to take the next step, or it's just going to be watch what happens in New York and it's about to be some pitchforks running around MetLife Stadium.
Are we sure Saquon's healthy?
I think he'll healthy enough. I mean, he looked like I saw a quick video, like the cuts. Now the cuts he was making, it was a quick cut, like quick jump cut. He looked all right. So I think it's gonna be one of the things where it may take a little bit more. Like it may take till half of the season till we see Saquon be Saquon that we saw beforehand, because it's still gonna be a mental thing. I mean, you just tore your ACL, even though you tell yourself I'm gonna be fine. It still takes time for it to respond. So you'll see. I think you'll see a little by little as each week progresses. Saquon is better, barring any other injuries. But I think he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
He's an athletic freak. Those dudes bounce back. He just has to get over. Like you said.
Yep. Seeing him and OBJ workouts, it's like, whew. I didn't see him in person, but I seen the workouts. It's like they're just athletic freaks, man.
Yeah, he's
the back half of it. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
No, I was just saying, yeah, he's tough. He's probably the best all around running back. If you just look at, a player in a bottle in the league, when healthy.
At their position, I think the distance between Aaron Donald, the distance between 1 and 2, in my eyes, is higher at that position. But other than that, I think Saquon just athletically, like as a Madden player, is far away the best.
It's sad, if he wasn't so injury prone and he didn't go sing, I think Dalvin Cook's up there. I really think I like his game because you see a guy who can catch the ball out the backfield. You see a guy who can make a cut. I put him up there, and it's just sad to see. Like, and now he's got all the injuries. Now he lost Stefon Diggs. I think more teams are going to load the box now, so we won't see the true Dalvin that we used to see. But I put him up there. It's just that running back position. It used to be. It's sad because you see so much value being put in there. You got guys that can play and do well on that, but you just don't see it anymore. It's crazy.
3 years and you're out pretty much.
Yeah.
Kamara's going to have a lot of value this year. They're gonna load him up with touches this year.
He's going to be the offense. With no Michael Thomas, it's like, well, I wonder where they're going. They'll try to they'll have to shift him around and put him in different spots, because if you just leave him in right next to Winston and just go, okay, just do a wheel route, we're going to follow you that way. They're going to have to line him up in the slot and Sean Payton
like Westbrook.
Remember, exactly. Yeah,
40% of the offense.
It really is going to have to be that way until Michael Thomas comes back, and then Michael Thomas come back. Which Michael Thomas are you going to get? Are you going to get the one that looked of old, or are you going to get the brooding one, or are you going to get the one that's happy to be back, but is he still lingering from the injury? That whole situation is just a mess in itself. Yeah, that's a mess.
Man.
It's crazy.
The Eagles have the front half of the Eagles schedule. They really just need to get to around Halloween and be somewhere near above water. maybe one game back or another, because the last 9, a lot of opportunities really to take care of business. I mean, they're playing the Chargers is probably the toughest game on the back half of the schedule. You play the Jets, the Giants, the Saints, the Broncos. You should run off some
nice.
Who?
Careful, the Broncos are going to be nice.
And I believe I think they were the last within a span the last few times. I forget it's either they were 1-3 or 1-4. The last times they traveled out to Denver is tough.
It's tough out there.
I have the Eagles winning 7 games this year.
7.
And for them, I think that's good. As long as they're showing improvement toward the back as they go along, that's cool with them. I don't think they're winning a division. I don't think they'll be. See, it's gonna be one of those things where I think it's gonna be tantalizing. Like, no, everybody's gonna be kind of struggling. Yep. So you'll go like probably like week 8, 9, like, well, the Eagles are only 2 games out.
Yep.
And then you go to week 13, 14, you got like 5 wins, 5, 6 wins. Well, the Eagles are only 2 games out, 1 game out. You're like, are they really go for it? You'll be like at the end of last year, like,
I don't see anybody in the division winning 12, 13 games.
Oh, no. No. They'll be lucky to get a 10-7 team, I think, in this division.
Exactly.
You got the AFC West. Yeah, the NFC East playing the AFC West. Ooh.
Cowboys offense stays healthy. I think they can get double-digit wins because that offense is one of the best offenses in the league.
Yeah, and double digit is a 10. That's the only thing I can see. They can be really explosive. They really can be explosive because they have different guys who can do different things that you can attack you in different facets. I just don't see when they match up against Kansas City's, against your Denver's, even Las Vegas. Even though I don't think they're going to be barn burners, I think they can. I think the Chargers are going to be better than the Raiders, and even charged with Herbert and. I think they're building on something there too.
Good. He's good.
They're building something there too. So,
young Marino.
Yeah, they're going to have to throw to be successful out there because I don't know what it is, but they're good. They're good. I can see them sneaking in as like the final wild card spot.
Oh yeah. They're going to be in. I think the Chargers are going to be in.
Yeah, it's both the AFC and the NFC West teams are. They're tough. The Eagles are lucky they get the last week's schedule and they get the NFC West because if they had to go play a first place schedule and on top of that have to play the AFC West, that's why I think Washington struggles because
Washington has just got to. I think they're the best all around team, but it's just going to be too tough to win, man.
Thanks, Taylor Heineke. You got us to a division championship. Good job. Yeah, now you got to play all the first place teams in the NFC, and you got the AFC West. Have fun at it.
Yeah. That's the thing. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
No, I'm just saying it's just going to be brutal.
It is.
That's the thing about being an Eagles fan, though, because we're always competitive and we're always streaking usually towards the end of the season. So you're always in it. And so it's just fun for it to be this kind of – and then I heard today that they're retiring Strahan's jersey against the Eagles in November.
Oh, the Giants do not like the Eagles whatsoever.
No.
Just because of what happened in that last game, because of them leapfrogging the Eagles leapfrogging the Giants with the Cowboys to go ahead and draft Devonta Smith.
Ooh.
And there's something else that happened too, very recently. Oh, I forgot it. It's going to. Now watch, it's going to be like an hour later. Oh, wait. No. But you see that? It's like they're treating this as like their in-season Super Bowl. Like, you know what? Let's get everybody really charged for bringing Strahan back against the Eagles. It's just seems like they're trying to stack the deck to make this game like really, really big. So
I can't wait. I can't wait. I love whooping up on the Giants. I love it.
And to me, lately, it just seems to me they're more the rival than the Cowboys. I mean, the Eagles Cowboys history, there's a lot there. But when you look at the more recent years, like
the Giants hate us more than the Cowboys fans hate us. The Cowboys fans hate Washington more, but we hate the Cowboys more.
Yeah. Separated by the turnpike. It just feels like they're more the geographical rival. It's not that much separate, and you have all this bad blood between them, the history that's happened in recent years. It's and that's why I wish this division got back to where it was just even a few years ago.
Yep.
Because when it was really rolling, when you had Buddy, eventually going to even the early co-tight years before you just basically ruined the team going there. And you had Joe Gibbs and the Reds and the Washington football team. You had the Giants going. It was just so much there. It became must-see TV. Now you're like, well, all right, cool. Yeah, we got a game for a division win. And the leader has like 7 wins.
Yeah.
All right. It's when they were going, and I don't know what has to happen. I mean, seeing stuff happen between the Eagles and Giants is good. It'd be nice to see if something happened between the Cowboys, did something that really made Washington upset or Washington. But old school NFC East football there was nothing like it. And hopefully it makes a return.
November 28th, Giants. See you there.
The
caucus, we're coming. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for coming on. And Steve, of course, did you have anything else you wanted to ask him before he goes back to write for NJ?
Nah, man, I'm good. Appreciate you coming on. It was a pleasure.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.